So hello and welcome to Nonnas Milan San Remo Week Part 2, the sequel. We had an absolutely monumental ride on Tuesday on the Donny Chain Gang with people taking on a version of the Gran Fondo 2022 route, which normally is just shy of 100k. We condensed that down and put all of the Milan San Remo action into what was 50k, and it was a long route, very, very tough. Great riding, taking some great teamwork to pull everybody together, and really, really good to see. We also, of course, had the very first of our giveaways from Nonnas, our sponsors for the week, and the people who have looked after the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chain Gang, and cycling in Sheffield for years now. And now Stefano and Maurizio, the team behind the link up, doing wonders behind the scenes, making sure everybody's fueled up and ready to go and looking after everybody every time we go down. And got to say a massive thank you to them. And of course, they ride the Donny Chain Gang, which, as you know, probably if you've been watching regularly, most of the people down below do. Josh from Halo, Andy from OTE, Chris from Velaskin, Ian from 1080, Ben from Velo Viewer, Caroline and Neil from Gritty, pretty much everybody on the Chain Gang, and of course Nonnas are big supporters of the Donny Chain Gang from the word go, so a massive thank you to them. Now on Tuesday, first of our giveaways, first of our fantastic prizes going out to members of the DCG gang, so that's the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club. It's how we literally pay for all of the extra electricity bills. You don't even want to know how much extra it is running all of the monitors, the PCs, the aircon, the cooling, the fans, and replacing everything. And price of electricity is going. I'm going to be trying to charge the batteries up on the emergency backup power on the turbo trainer in between broadcasts soon at this rate. But the guys, people who donate to the DCG gang, massive thank you. Their membership, their joining that gang, basically means that we can keep on bringing you all the coverage, that we can keep on bringing you in all the kit as we wear it all out, and of course that we can make sure that we're able to run no matter what. And to say thank you, we keep on bringing you loads of goodies. So whether that's discounts from all the people below, whether it's our great giveaways, our next giveaway, it's going to be gritty, and I think before the end of the spring season, we've got Halo and LTE back once again with more giveaways. But of course, we're on Nonnas Week, so first giveaway on Tuesday, we saw Steve Cannon taking away that voucher for £75. Who's going to take it away today? Well, if you were watching on Tuesday, you know how this works. We have our random number generator just there, and that has all of our members with a number allocated against them. A's are down in the ones for the Alistairs and the Andrews and the Andys, and right at the end it's people like Vin and Wayne and co. So we're going to stop that. When it stops, it's going to land randomly on somebody, and then they are going to be receiving that £75 voucher. Don't worry if you're not able to get down to Nonnas. Nonnas have a fantastic online store as well. It's nonnas.co.uk, and you can pick up those goodies and get them sent direct to your door. So we are going to press the stop button. I'm not going to look at the screen over there. I'm going to look over there, and it's going to stop on number 33. Is Jamie Pearson. So Jamie, I hope you're watching. Jamie, you are going to be our next winner and member of the DCG gang. So Jamie Pearson, you are going to be our second winner of the voucher. £75 to spend at Nonnas. You need to get that delivered to your door from the shop. But of course, personally, I'll be going in. Aaron City to start off with, and one of the passes maybe. But there's so much to choose from. To be honest, I'm not going to go through the menu. It's all great. And even if you've got, if you're celiac, whether you're gluten-free or similar, whether you're vegetarian, vegan, loads of options for you. So, guys, get yourselves down there, support the people who support your sport. And good luck to Jamie and, of course, to Steve Cannon, who are going to be heading down there. And they are going to be the first of our winners. So, amazing stuff. Brilliant to see. And, Jamie, I hope you're going to enjoy it. Now, let's jump from there across to the man who is in charge of our Italian journey tonight, heading out and around the roads of London tonight. We're going around Triple Loop, so we're going to try and get hold of the one and only Jimmy Allen, who is going to be rounding people up. We can see his avatars down on the start line, and hopefully we're going to get Jimmy on the end of the line. So, Jimmy, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, looking forward to this.
Looking forward to
See,
it.
even though it's so nice outside as well, it's glad to be on the bike.
It's stunning outside. The weather tonight is much better than last night. I have to hold my hand up and say I have the worst timing in the world ever when it comes to riding the bike, because it's been glorious at the start of the week, glorious on Wednesday morning, glorious today. When did I choose to spend 2 hours riding around Sherwood Pines in the absolutely persistent, pouring, disgusting weather? That'll be Wednesday afternoon.
Glutton for punishment.
Timing is everything, apparently, and mine was clearly pants. There's no other word for it. In fact, I spent all day trying to clean all the gear down and sort out the bike once again, and I even had to replace some bearings on my Halo wheels just to get everything rolling again, because it took absolute pounding. Yeah, it's grimy and gritty, but that's such is life. You don't have those problems when you're on Zwift, and I got to say, it's going to be really interesting tonight. We've got quite a few people joining us despite the amazing weather, and I have to say, really looking forward to seeing this, how this route plays out. We've not done it before on the chain gang. Flat for the first half, hilly as hell on the second half, and we'll probably go through that in a bit more detail later. So could be ideal for the gang, or it could be a complete disaster. What do you think?
I think it'll go pretty well. I think you've chosen a brilliant course to reflect as close as you can on Milan San Remo. I've just done a little bit of looking, and I sort of saw your description, but it's like Poggio. I mean, if you look at is it Lethal we're going up first? That could be like the Passo del Turchino. Mm-hmm. Steady away up there, get everybody together. And then sort of the last one is sort of a Poggio type climb, isn't it? Poggio's 3.7 kilometres at 3.6%, something like that, and then Box Hill a bit shorter, but 5%. So it's there or thereabouts. So
yeah, very
quick downhill to the finish. Yeah, it's going to be good fun.
Yep, a little bit of a kicker over those escalators are going to test people as well, which is going to be good to see.
Yeah.
And that is a real sprint in. So it is possible for a breakaway to go, and we saw what could have been a breakaway into the finish, but it never seemed to stick at the end of the ride on Tuesday. Is that going to be the case today? Are we going to see, do you think, a small group at the end of this? Because it is tough up Leith Hill. It's a long way, and don't know whether the group will manage to stay together all the way over there.
I'm going to try and keep it together, so we'll try and keep it sensible, and then anyway, some type point after that, obviously, and between that and Box Hill, we'll have the go. But let's try and get everybody together as close as possible, and have a good tear up at Box Hill. And like I say, whether it won't stay together at Box Hill. We've got some powerhouse are going to smash it up there, and then that, like I said, that little kicker up the escalator, that'll be an interesting little pinch point to finish, because that's close enough to the finish, isn't it? It's about 1.5 kilometres from the finish, something like that. It's good little finish, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my favourite little point on the entire course on any of the races that finish there. I must admit, it suits me down to the ground, because it's about 15 seconds of absolute power, and then just hold on and grit your teeth to the finish and hope nobody comes past you. They always do, but I live in hope one day. We'll see. I mean,
use of power-ups will be interesting as well. I mean, power-ups are going to be crucial, I think, tonight.
Yeah,
it's difficult to stay away in the downhill, but yeah, it'll be good tactics again. That's what made Tuesday so interesting. So I think it'll be another good ride.
Well, we look forward to that. We're going to let you get back to the troops with just under 30 seconds to go. Cheers, Jimmy.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
So great to catch up with Jimmy. We're going to dive into the map. So we're in London for triple loops. We are heading out and round. So essentially the first half of the course heads out from by the Tower of London, goes along the river, and then we make our way through the sections, of course, out on to what is essentially Greater London Flat. We make our way around the city. We go on to the classic course. We then come back and we go up the long Leith Hill. That is a long section at the bottom right-hand side of the screen. We come around, and instead of going straight up Box Hill, we go around the closest, running parallel to the river, almost exactly to the bottom of Box Hill. Now, that is roller coaster. And then we go up Box Hill, and then we drop back down off Box Hill with that very fast run down into the finish, and as close as we can get to a profile of Milan San Remo, I think, in the event. So going to be really interesting to see how that rolls. We are out on the roads, and it looks like the chain gang already starting to make its way out onto the flat start. let's show you just how flat it is. Our red beacon is Keith Richards. Keith, one of the key men, hopefully riding his Halo wheels tonight and just heading out on to the roads of London. And he's currently making his way along, and this is what the course that our riders have in store. They're going to head out on the flatlands. And remember, you go all the way to 20k. Essentially flat. We then head into Leith Hill, and you can see from the fantastic Velo Viewer colours that the steepest part is at the top, and that is the same as the course on the Milan San Remo. We drop down, and then we've got those little kickers where the capos would be on the Milan San Remo, and then we go into the Cipressa and the Poggio at the end. Those really are going to take the toll. Everything essentially, the Milan San Remo 300k, all compressed down into what is going to be 41.4. 41.4. That is the distance. We're going to hit that finish line, and our riders just heading out on to that lap now. So without further ado, let's dive off our fantastic Velo Viewer map and dive in here on Nonnas Milan San Remo a week in with our riders on the Donny Che Gang live here on the Down in Cycling YouTube channel. So our riders underway and riding on the Donny Chain Gang live here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. This could be a long one. I'm fueled up with my Grand Tour coffee. Got extra bottle of OTE already for this. And looks like the riders already just starting to make their way in to the group. We're going to just work our way towards the back of the group and just see our late joiners just jumping in on the back. I think Mr. Woodall is probably going to be the last one on the back here, and it is going to be key for our riders to stay together as they head out on this flat section, because the ability to stay in that pack, in that draft, is going to be crucial. Remember, we're going to get really wound up now. We have got a number of people on here. We have got on board our yellow beacon. That is Jimmy Allen, the man in that Mondrian-inspired kit, in the Peugeot kit. It is going to be Keith Richards, our red beacon. We've also got on board tonight, we've definitely seen certain Mr. Kieran Smith. Kieran, the winner of Tuesdays with a fantastically timed sprint going over the top of Tom Lindley, along over this, going over the top of Matt Gilmore. Remember, today this route's slightly different. We had a hill at the start and the end, but this is going to be really interesting as they make the way out, because this has got essentially a relatively flat start and a incredibly fast finish down in. Now, the riders are working well together already. Keith, our red beacon, I think, just keeping a check on everybody at the back there, and great to have Keith on board once again. So here on Nonnas Milan San Remo week, heading out along the flatlands. We go out onto the flatter sections, just watching the group heading out nice and smoothly. And that's grouped together now. If we look at the top right hand side, let's get that map a little bit closer to our riders. Pretty much all together, which is what we want to see to start off with. Just raining a little bit in London at the moment. Clearly down south, they've not been behaving themselves. That's not necessarily great news. It looks like Neil from the Crosscast already got the feather flag up and rolling. So it looks like that is getting the feather is going to be a good sign. A power up which reduces your weight by 10%. Absolutely critical to have that on a climb if you want to be able to give it some big beans. But at the moment, no need for that on this run along the side of the river. And at the moment, certainly looks to me like everybody rolling along quite nicely indeed. So if we just take a little bit of a side view as they run along the embankment, everybody together. Mr. Pearson is in the gang at the moment. Certainly looks like he's rolling well. So Pearson, Jamie Pearson, one of our winners on the DCG gang draw. The total distance today, well, it is going to be 41.4k to the banner. for triple loops. It's 41.4 with then the warm down of 2.6k after. So 41.4 for the banner, and that is going to be on the end of the lap. Quick resume for those in case anybody missed it. Quick reminder, this is the profile. Flat to 20k, big hill of Leith Hill, followed by the bumps round the side of Richmond Park, then into Box Hill, over Box Hill, summit of Box Hill at 36 kilometres, drop down to 41.4, so 5.5k near enough for our riders to get in to the finish. Now, just watching these riders at the moment, and it looks like 4 riders at the back just attached a little bit off the back of that main group as it rolls around this turn. I think there's some keen beans in at the front tonight. So you can just see Day in that yellow of the Bontrager kit. We've got Mr. Keyworth in the blue of Wahoo, and you can just see quickly rolling into the back of the gang here. Craig Genther, our fantastic beacon from Tuesday, did an amazing job dropping back, helping everybody in that Downing cycling kit, just on in the grey to the left of your screen. So just rolling his way up and through. Looks like our yellow beacon keeping everybody together nice and tight as we go in towards the top in this weather. You normally go on Zwift to avoid the rain when it's pouring outside and the weather's inclement outside. Well, guess what? It's really nice outside at the moment, and you're on Zwift indoors and it's raining. Total reversal of fortune for everybody. Because it all depends on where your server is connected to as to what weather you get. That's literally how it works. Just watching Nick McDermott just making his way up here. Our riders just making the way. They're going to go in and underneath the Nelson's column, and then head up the edge. We're just going to fly right through the building. The wonders of having a drone that can do that. And you can just see, just starting to move the way up onto the side. So remember, Jimmy on holding at 2.5 watts per kilo. And Jimmy just at the back of a little string. I think people just settling down as they come in. Incredibly well-behaved gang, I have to say, on Tuesday. And that was really did help with the work that had to be done to keep that group together. Mr. Woodall tucked in nicely on the back of the gang as well. So just keeping a check on here. AD Dench back in with us. Good to have AD back with us. Downing cycling coached rider. AD in the orange cap there with the grey Downing cycling kit, and the coaching works on the back. Good to see that Dean was out at the Eddie Sowens, great starter. Generally where everybody from Liverpool gets to kick in the heads of everybody who comes from anywhere else to go race around Aintree. And that is the way it goes. Now, looks like Jeff Cecil's on the tucking wheels till the go home, and then he's got to go home himself. So Jeff, enjoy riding in the back. Just think you can get a really good workout at the back, just giving everybody a hand. So, riders heading out and round. Quick reminder, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget that you can flick it on to live. It does get delayed sometimes depending on your signal. Now, if you highlight the live and click it, it will pull it up, and you should get a little red button when it pulls you straight into live. Generally, you should be running about 2 seconds, between 1.5 to 2 seconds behind for most good Wi-Fi connection. It can be a little bit longer than that, depending on how good the signal strength is, how good your Wi-Fi is, how much bandwidth you've got, how fast your processor is. You know, the score gets boring if I keep on telling everybody about it. Now, just see we've got Chris Goddard in here, just sat on the back in that purple Rafa kit there, just pushing on to get onto the wheels as they go up over the turn. Forbes in here as well, Richards in as well. I can see the comparisons of what people are thinking for tonight's ride. Now, this young man, young Tom Lindley, eternally the young Tom Lindley until he wins the Chain Gang. A bit of a prodigy from the Chain Gang. Interestingly, gone for the Melenstein lightweights. He is not a rider who has taken a win yet. However, he has been in the top 2 or 3. He was the man who put in a fantastic attack at the final. He launched his sprint early, but got robbed by Matt Gilmore and Kieran Smith, his nemesis, as they came in last time round. Will today be Lindley's ride. A lot of people on the chain gang are rooting for Tom. Had the pleasure of riding with Tom in real life out at Sherwood Pines, and great to go and catch up with a number of our riders fairly regularly down there on a Wednesday. So if you're heading down on a Wednesday, give us a shout. Regularly down there doing a bit of training with Indy, a couple of laps at least. Generally trying to avoid the rainy bits, but you never know. Sometimes that happens. Well, let's see, we've got Matt Nunn with us. Matt, of course, our official lap scorer for the Donny Chain Gang Open Chain Gangs is going to be on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. This time round, he only has a very simple job. It is 1 lap, so nice and simple. Now, the gang at the back here just distanced a little bit here. Looks like Keyworth just having to just push on at the back of that group. Looks like Simon Runnett just on the back of the group, just losing a little bit of distance. Remember, if you do want that warm-up, the aim is to dive off the back and then head out and make your way back into the gang. So it looks like Wayne Barr just tucked on the back here. Wayne, one of our members of the DCG gang, one of the nice people to bump into out on the mountain bike circuit as well, and hopefully going to get to bump into him. Not on the mic for the National Mountain Bike Series. Not going to be at all that many of those, with them clashing with a number of UCI gigs this year. So when I am, hopefully I have a little bit more time to talk though, because not going to be on the mic, so hopefully we may see some people in the pits for some of those. You can see we've got Bobby Mason back on the chain gang once again. Another strong ride by Bobby on Tuesday, looking to see whether he replicates that today. So Chris Gale in the gang, tucked in nicely in here. Looks like Gary Pattinson in here as well. We've seen Mr. Nunn, Jamie Pearson, the winner of today's voucher. So Jamie, in your green jersey, you can head down to Nonnas in Sheffield and Eccleshill Road, the fantastic supporters. This is going to be good. So good to see Keith on there. Don't rely on him to close gaps. He's going to be company for anyone who slides out the back. He's going to be there for a reason. And good to see Keith just coming back to fitness and using that and giving up his time to, instead of just doing the training, but actually diving in and helping everybody in the ride. It looks like we've got Rob Taylor in here. Matt Crease in, Craig Genther now. Craig, again, another of those strong riders who really broke the ride up on Tuesday. Another of the riders from down in cycling with that Coaching Works jersey on, tucked in at the back. And nice compact group here. Nobody too far. That little group out the back, I think, just already just starting to form a bus. That's going to be very interesting if that's the case. So great to see the message coming up from Jimmy, our yellow beacon. If your legs are struggling and you're going to drop back to stretch them, please, guys, and make sure that you are let the beacon know. So it looks like Mr. Kirkham on his own. He needs to jump out, mate, and jump back in again. Do a late join, so leave the gang, jump back in again. You'll find yourself magically transported to the front of the group if you're pedaling on the pushing on those pedals as you rejoin. It's Paul Marlin in here. Looks like how sharp in here. Nick McDermott in this gang. 80 Dench we've seen. Good to see Ian Bale in here. Ian with another good ride on Tuesday. So interesting to see this group back together now as they come down off the turns. So no lead outs, please, on the way in. It looks like Jimmy's going to call a sprint potentially. Very interesting to see Jimmy letting people stretch the legs nice and early. Going to be confident in the group and got to be confident in the chain gang to do that. But the group working together well at the moment. have a little bit of a run up towards the front as well here. So we've got Mr. Woodbridge in here. Very good to see in the bikes and beers. Let's have a little look. Always go up to the front here. Jason Stevens in here. Neil from the Crosscast, and of course from Gritty in here, and potentially going to be out riding. I think we've got a long gravel stroke cyclocross ride planned on Sunday. Going to be about a 4 or 5 hour ride, and Neil and Caroline from Gritty coming up to Eckington on that. Everybody welcome, of course. Going to be stretching our legs out. A little bit far for some people, must admit, but we'll see who comes in. Nice to see that Neil's got his helmet on. I'm hoping that's not in real life. Neil's turbo room in the old barn. I know it's a bit holy, the roof at times, Neil. It's getting on that building, but I'm sure it's watertight, honest. Dr. D in with us, which is good to see. Always good to see he's in with the gang here. Let's have a little look who else we've got. Looks like Tracy Seeley, the Terminator, is in here. Mr. Richardson in, Sean Ferrin in as well. Just have a little roll about here. So McCarthy in the group, Mr. Birmingham in here. Is it going to be his day now? Here we go. Randomly flicking through the gang, and look who it is in the pink with the grey hair and the beard on that pink Tron bike. It is the man to beat when it comes to the chain gang at the moment. It is Kieran Smith, who's absolutely flying at the moment, and very, very interesting to see how he's going now. Jimmy letting us do the rundown in to the sprint on the mall. That'll be very interesting who goes for that, who saves their legs, because that is going to be a really good way to open those legs up. It's also going to be a really tough way if you're going to be on the limit a little bit later. You may have burnt a few matches too early. I can see that we've got Andy Singleton on. Andy, one of our riders, regular riders from day one. Andy, come to take it easy. He's have a nice steady roll around apparently tonight, because he's one of the riders heading out to Mallorca. Remember, of course, we kicked off the month with the Velo Skin session. It was the Velo Skin training camp a week. So the travel packs from Velo Skin are looking after our riders and going out to the members of the DCG gang. No Dale Williams here as yet. He's got about 12 minutes to make it. Remember, there's a late join on here for the riders coming on. Will he be the rider who's going to be in? He's putting some great attacks on Tuesday as well. Good to see we've got Greg Pillsworth back in with us. Greg, another of our regular riders on the chain, always prepared to help people out as well, which is really good to see. Definitely one of the good guys. Let's have a little bit of a look who else we've got on here. This group is rolling around quite nicely. You can see Mr. Spencer's on here. He's riding really strongly on Tuesday. Going to be interesting to see how he goes on today. Looks like Chris Canham tucked in here as well. So the gang working well. Certainly looks well behaved at the moment. Let's see if we can find our yellow beacon Jimmy. It's in here somewhere. I have to work our way up through the groups, because we've got lots of our regular riders. Because we've got Jerry Cross from Manchester Wheelers back in with us. Looks like super strong sprinter Sonia in the gang. Dixon Moore in here. Purple Ronnie in the gang. Rob Wimble in here. Looks like we've got Terminator herself. That's Tracy Seeley. Tracy just in that Rafa kit. One of our regular riders on the chain gang, who regularly does all three rides. I think it could be quite a tough competition in the women's competition tonight, because I think we have indeed got Joe Munden as well. So we've got Tracy Seeley. We've got Joe Munden. Joe, a really strong riding that Cryo Gen team, and just took herself into the group. Very strong rider, very fast finisher as well. Let's see if Joe's going to be the rider who's going to take it out the front of the women's chain gang. Oh, and it looks like we've actually also got the Wow DCG, a yellow beacon in the shape of Emma as well. So Emma Payne in here. So Emma, the Aeonian rider, just been moved up actually in the ZRL teams. The teams get the shuffle for the Aeonian squad, and I think we can probably not allowed to tell you, but we have done now. It's too late. Tell you that promoted now. Emma getting promoted up from the Bellissimas to the Bravas, I think, if they haven't changed the names as well on the way through. So moving up through that squad is Emma, our yellow beacon from the WOW DCG. So congratulations to Emma, and of course the Aeonian squad's really, really strong with riders joining them all the time as well, which is good to see. So the riders at the moment just heading along Whitehall. You can just see making the way in past the memorials, and going to be heading back into Trafalgar Square once again. So this little drag just pushing on up. Looks like it looks like at least one of the riders just took off the back. It looks like Jeff Sayso just stretching his legs off the back of the group. The gang are working together well, the pace being held nicely at the moment. The clock ticking by at the moment, and looks like that distance just nicely holding as they make the way through. So the pace is keeping nice and smooth. So Keith Richardson in on the gang, lone rider in here as well. So we've got Andy Hawes with us, Kieran Kirk in as well. Now we're heading into the classic section. Now going to be heading in towards that sprint. The man who's going to be calling the shots is going to be Jimmy Allen. So going into the classic, we're going to go in, we take the U-turn at the end. Call from Jimmy to blob up before the sprint. Remember, no flyers please, no doing silly long lead outs. You need to be back to yellow to wait for Jimmy's call. Now he got to go to 20k before you even start on the big hills. That's going to be Leith Hill. So Jimmy at the moment just tucked in at the back quarter of the group. So press 6 on your keyboard if you don't know where it is. So Jimmy going to call this. This is not a wind-up running, it is a sprint. Now remember, if you want to get a fast time, the only place to begin your sprint is at the back, and you will see, oddly enough, all the real fast riders will be at the back of the group. You see everybody easing off the pace here. Jimmy just holding that 2.3. He's steadily working his way through the group, and Jimmy will lead this in, I think, at that 2.3 watts per kilo. And look at that, that's what you call control. The entire group has just gone behind. He's going to sit at 2 watts per kilo for the lead-in. You need to wait until his call. Who is it going to be? Who's going to do the fast kick here? Who's going to be the man to take it out? Who's going to get the fastest female time on the way through? Now, no pressure, but let's jump on to Tuesday's winner. Are we going to see? This is very interesting when we see some of our big contenders choosing not to join in the sprint. If you're going to go for it, you need to go from the back. As we come down, we're going to make our way down and in. You can just see going underneath Nelson's column at the moment, and now we take the right-hand turn into the mile proper, go underneath Admiralty Arch. So the riders now on the way in. This is a 200-metre sprint, and Kieran says he's not sprinting. That's interesting. Thanks for letting me know, buddy. He says the question is who is going to go for this. Who is going to get the power on and who's going to go? Well, it looks like there's been a big shout out and Spencer's going early here, so we're going to ride in with Anthony Spencer. You can see at the numbers at the top there, we're seeing 12s and 13s. Spencer could get this. He had a 12.5, but now he's got his nose in the wind with about 60 metres to go, and that is very dangerous indeed. Will he be able to hold it? So it looks like it is Gary License who's got it, and he's got a 9.84. Canham has got a 9.95. 2 riders inside 10 seconds. Looks like our fastest female is going to be Emma on the first page there as well. So Emma with a 10.95. That is seriously quick times here. So a 10.95 for Emma, our yellow beacon. Not sure that was taken easy, but there you go. So much for our yellow wild DCG just going on. I'm just going to have a steady ride tonight, mate. Yeah, right. So interesting to see just who was going for that. And Kira not going for that really early sprint. Now, good to see that Mr. License is coming back into form. He's recovered and really is starting to find those fast legs. We're just going to work our way up through the groups. Remember, if you are at the front, please, guys, not the pace back off again. We just see our yellow Wow DCG rider. That is going to be a nice one to Emma. She's got the green jersey, virtual green jersey. Fastest sprint time of 10.95 from Emma there. We're just going to now look for Mr. License. Not even sure where he is, to be honest. Going to work our way back through. I think they probably shut the throttle right off the moment he came through. Can't see him now. Typical. Be a bit like London buses. Now, interesting to see that the gang are just now needing to reform, spread over about 25 to 30 seconds at the moment. Templeman just having to push on here. So Kirkham at the moment is about 15 minutes back. You need to drop out, mate. You've got about 2.5 minutes to do so before you can get back on. So this looks like this is our last rider, and so let's have a little look. It looks like Keith Richardson just easing off the pedals. He's dropping back. Templeman from Velobounce is going to be in here now. A gang at the back, a little bit of time here, 20 seconds. Templeman really pushing about 3 watts per kilo. Is Richardson going to kick on into one of our really fast riders? Keith Richardson has got some serious power. You can just see Templeman just coming in. So jump on the wheel, Gary, from Keith. That's what we want to see. So Keith Richards just putting the call out early. He's not going to be in. And in a shape to be able to chase people back on, and our riders jumping in to fill that role. And it's not something we ask all our red beacons to do. It's something that they can choose to do. All of our volunteers do an amazing job, and got to say a massive thank you to all of our red beacons. They are absolutely amazing, every single one of them, and without them the ride just wouldn't be the same. Now, great to see. So you can just see now Richardson going through Templeman and Saysel together. Jeff Saysel just on the back there. Templeman comes through now. All three work together. They're going to be absolutely flying. Tom, I don't think Kieran's line. I think he may just be playing you. That he's going to be taking it easy. Just watch him go from the gun now. So here we go. We've got Jeff. We've got Gary, and we've got Keith working together. Looks like Keith Richardson just dropping back to help as well. Looks like Craig Genther just providing a breadcrumb as well off the back. So this is the chase on here. Fantastic. This is what we want to see, the group working together. It's this group spirit that makes Donny Chain Gang separate to anything else that's on Zwift. Without it, it'd just be another ride. It'd just be a free-for-all. But the team on the way through now. Looks like Emma getting a feather bonus on the way through. That's interesting. So great teamwork, fantastic stuff, guys. That is exactly what we want to see. Now, time ticking away. We've gone over that 30-minute marker. Now, one of our big kickers is Dale Williams. Dale, right on the limit of Dale, actually getting back from work and getting on the ride. Just scrolling through the gang at the moment, and I have to say, it does look like Dale Williams has made the ride this time. He can be relied on to give some serious beans and some serious power into the attacks, but looks like not in here. So this group pretty much all together. So I don't think Dale has made it. Mr. Williams, I don't think he made it into the gang. I'm going to double check on the way through. I'm sure he'll let us know if he has actually made it. But as far as I know, not seeing him on the list of riders, just on the way in, which means not having made it. Looks like that is one less for Tom Lindley to contend with. At the moment, Lindley has got to break his duck in taking the win. He wants to get rid of the young Tom Lindley tag, basically. So if you want to keep Tom being called young Tom Lindley, then you need to make sure he don't win. That's kind of how it works. If you want to get rid of the young tag for Tom, then make sure he does win. That's kind of how it's going to work. No pressure, mate. But, so, here we go. Riders up and over the bridge, coming across. And you can just see at the moment going to be heading in towards the tunnels. Neil, you can't have a young tag if you do win. I'm really, really sorry. So the gang heading in towards first big climb. Seems like an appropriate junction to give Jimmy a call. Let's see if we can get hold of Jimmy Allen. And we'll see if they manage to keep this all together. So, Jimmy.
Hello,
great,
Matt.
Hi, mate. Great riding so far. Great to see everybody working well on the way through.
I keep wondering if this is the best ever. I guess, and I think this is ranking up there in terms of ones I've led. In terms of staying together so far, it's just so straightforward and stress-free.
It's. I mean, the gang's working really well. I love the message from Keith, our Red Beacon, said, I'm going to be here to give company to anybody who's struggling because I'm going to struggle tonight because I'm just on my way back. And that's meant that he's taken that role of Red Beacon absolutely spot on. And other people are dropping back and helping other riders. How fantastic is that? You know, just naturally just rolling the way in. And that is just what we want from the chain gang. It's there to look after everybody.
That's it. A classic Donny chain gang, isn't it? Looking after each other. And everybody knows they're going to get a good workout. And it's like he'll keep saying, it's different to every other ride on Zwift. If you want to thrash for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever, you can go and do plenty of other events. But this is the one where you can have a nice steady warm up and then, a quality 20-minute effort at the end. You know you're going to get it. So, yeah, so far so good. And we're just heading up the. It is Leith, isn't it? I'm getting that
it
right.
Leith,
or
yep,
Chino, or whatever.
It's Leith. We go up Leith and then we drop down Keith.
Yes.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
So up Leith, down Keith, up Box, down Fox.
I
need to get out more clearly.
Yeah, but I was hoping. I know when they did a Ticino, there was the steady up there, don't they? So it's quite early on, and this is the same. So let's go steady up here, just like they do up the Ticino, and save his legs for the big finale. Yeah. I was trying to get the Italian translation for finale, but I couldn't find it.
Well, maybe that's going to be Tom Lindley's homework as well as working out how to take a win in the chain gang. Yeah, go. Need a glass stand, a glass hammer, and a long stand in the corner. I know. We know the one. Brilliant.
Hey, great sprints, by the way.
Amazing.
Nice
I want
Gareth.
to talk about those. I mean, Gareth. Gareth there. I mean, 2 riders sub 10 seconds. And the whole of the screen, the top of the screen, filled with sub 11 seconds, including Emma putting in a 10.95.
Emma as well, yeah.
I know.
What was that time again from Emma?
10.95 from Emma.
From We're going steady as well. That's not bad, is it?
I know there was, it was a kick from zero, from 2 watts per kilo almost. It wasn't a rolling in at 50k, 60k an hour, and then going off the top of it. So that's I think it's impressive to see, but
very rapid.
Very rapid. One man who didn't, and I've got to say thank you to him for letting us know, Kieran, keeping his powder dry, I think, somehow.
He's put the cat amongst the pigeons doing that, and he knows it. So I reckon we all need to work him over.
Well,
make him try a bit harder.
Well, maybe that is, maybe he's had a serious training block. Now, just hitting the 8%, I'm going to let you get your breath back, mate. And we'll see how our riders carry on the rest of the hill. Enjoy this, buddy.
Yep, see you in a bit.
So great to catch up with Jimmy there, and looks like the gang just about holding together. This is where things get a little bit more difficult to hold the gang together, and this is where it really does need that skill of the beacons to keep it all together. Remember, this is about keeping that pace nice and smooth on the way as they head up here on the chain gang. It's all about staying with that group. So Paul Martin just rolling his way back on after putting the message in about the underpass. So it looks like one of our newer riders, maybe not just getting the missive about holding it together with the go, go, go. Looks like Matt will be on the phone again post chain gang. Just so people are aware, don't forget guys, that you do sign up to the terms and conditions when you join the ride or join the gang. That includes following the instructions of the yellow beacon, and we reserve the right to remove riders or refuse access to the chain gang. We don't do it often. Generally, we find a phone call to just check to make sure that everybody knows what they're doing and where they're at. And look at that, Monty already coming straight back into the gang. You just see everybody easing off the pressure real fast and knocking those watts down. This is all about sitting with that yellow beacon and getting the group together over the top until that go, go, go. Remember, that is the point at which the throttle is allowed to be pressed as hard or as easy as you want. Up to that point, it's about keeping it nice and smooth. So in with Mr. License, absolutely flying on his way through the sprint line. And Goods, he's back on form once again. Interestingly, though, there must be another event currently simultaneously on the same route, because don't get that green jersey. So Emma managing to take the green jersey of the women's fastest time during the chain, but not the fastest men's time. So it could well be that there is a group riding fast and flying its way in. So it looks like Monty just dropping off the back, going to be kicking his way back on. Remember, the tighter we are together, the sooner that Jimmy will be able to call that. That isn't an excuse if you want a long run in to the finish before the go off the front trying to get him to hold it. It won't work. You just find yourselves on the end of a phone call from me later tonight. Bearing in mind I've had a busy day, it's probably not a good thing to do. So really interesting to see all of the talk all about the Box Hill and Leith Hill. Actually, the section between is going to be very entertaining. So there's a section as we drop down off the top, and we are just going to drop the map in here. So you can just see at the moment we're going along the very base of the map, going across from through the section in towards the pink. So following the blue dot, we're currently around those turns, coming around that long sweeping right hand bend before we go onto the KOM proper. We've then got the downhill. This is a really long descent. You follow that blue dot down, but now where the blue dot is rolling around the top of the Thames before you come onto the Box Hill climb proper and up to the summit, that section is the bumpy section from 28k, really 30 right the way to 32. Now, it doesn't look very big, but that innocuous little section there is going to test our riders, and that is where it's going to get very interesting indeed, because if we've had the trigger pulled by that point, that is going to get really spicy through there because it's going to be really hard. If we haven't, then that's going to make it very interesting indeed, because it means that there's going to be some very pent up bits of energy. So we'll see what people feel like, see how Jimmy's feeling like working today. I just seen Mr. Runnett just tucked to the back here. We've got Keith at the sitting at the back, and he tucked in here as well. Mr. Gale in here. Looks like Gary Templeman in the pack. So this group totally all together. In fact, you could almost do that perfect finish for a handicapper in terms of it being a blanket finish. What you want as a handicap organiser, and a handicap races that they all set off at different times, and then you end up chucking a blanket over the top as they come into the finish together. At the moment, everybody working well, and that group is all together pretty much. There were not too many keen beans on the front. Just see a few people just taking advantage, just heading to the back just to stretch the legs out a little bit at the moment. But at the moment, it looks to me like this group rolling okay. So going to be very interesting. Going to take this left-hand turn. Remember, we're not even onto the main part of the climb of Leith Hill. The actual KOM comes around these turns, because around that 90-degree left-hand turn that you can see coming up in a little way. So Andy Singleton just tucked in, just spinning his legs before he heads to Mallorca. Or have we mentioned that already? Of course we have. Just on his way up the message board, busy up till now, and suddenly it starts to go a little bit quieter. Wayne just tucked at the back here. Wayne Barr just rolling to the back. Keith Richardson in here. Jason Stevenson, Gary Licence now just rolling with Templeman. Lindley just tucked in and near the back as well. So just keeping a little bit of a check on our riders here. Looks like Keith Richardson just going back to help Keith Richards there with the at the back of the group. Looks like Kieran Smith sat tucked in at the back, and everybody in the group really behaving themselves as they come up here. So a drop out. So the bus just off the back, but coming straight back in. So Jimmy just keeping a check on what's going on where. This group sitting there. I'm just going to say Jimmy is a really nice guy. He's much nicer than me. That has to be said, because I'm really mean. I have to say the Wolf at the moment is looking like he's got this pack well and truly working together for the common good. No one's going to be going hungry. And you can just see ticking along nicely as we go up into towards the upper flanks of the section, up on the steep section. Matt, no, your headphones hadn't gone. We just turned all of the sound off. Now, can we get a blob over the top of the summit? Still got a little way to go, and it gets steep here. This is the steepest section. Can everybody hold together? Can we help the people at the back? Wolfpack is the word. I tell you what, the team at the Quick Step squad are just like not got a clue when it comes to it. This is how it's done. Look at it. Everybody are working well here. You just watching everybody just keeping those pedals moving. And remember, if you're strong, get yourselves to the back between the red and the sort of the yellow beacon at the moment. The back third, if you had the back there, you're just going to help drive people on. We might not be doing the silly, crazy speed, but every little bit helps people. That little bit of morale of thinking, I'm in the group. This is how we can keep together. That's what's going to bring it on. And then remember, on that descent, one big blob, we are going to set a really fast time down there. It's going to be very, very quick as one big group. Now, I know a number of people were asking, what's Jimmy on tonight? Well, where do we think he's going to go based on what bike he's got? Well, interestingly, Jimmy not on a disc. Jimmy has got a set of relatively lightweight but aero wheels on an aero frame. But got to remember, Jimmy being a member of the Stelton also has an eye on fashion and doesn't want to rib him when he goes down to the pub. So he's got a very nicely colour coordinated orange. You can see the orange there keyed nicely into that Mondrian strip with the white frame there. So this is really key in terms of what Jimmy chooses. Not just, all the great riders have got class, they've got style. Jimmy's heading that way. He's certainly got the gang working well together. Very Badger-esque in terms of his control over this group. So just let's have a little look. Everybody looking like they're going okay here. I'm trying to pick a few people with some heart rates on here, but looking like that's going to be easier said than done. Joe Munden at the moment, just taking it along nicely in with this group. Ian Bale in here, 123. Rob Wimble, we've got Rob with us. Good to see Rob in here. Rob from the Dragon Racer team, 129. And just ticking along as well. So hopefully at the moment, everybody being smart. Neil, 109. Blimey. So, the words from Jimmy, just stay off the front, guys. Just trust him. We need no gaps in this bunch. And got to remember, it's not just about the distance, it's about the time. At the moment, just going up through the walls, just coming in. If we take a little bit of a twist, you can just see that gantry is just in the top of the right-hand side of the screen, top of the map. That is going to be key for our riders. And it's up on the top of the map. That means that we need to make sure we get this going together. We're on 10% at the moment, and this is where you're going to see a number of people get in trouble if this gang pushes too hard. So it looks at the moment like pretty much everybody rolling along. Mr. Day, I think getting a few dropouts on the way through, just quickly pushes back in here. Just going to roll back. We're going to try and attempt to get the back of the group. I think it's Jimmy actually at the back. Well, don't speak too soon. But Jimmy Allen at the moment, keeping control, keeping this pace here, great communication, and currently sitting at 252 metres on the clock. This is a big high route, remember. This is the highest point on the entire route when we get to the top of the climb. It's the longest climb on the route as well. We're going to drop off the side. We then work our way around the side of Richmond. Then we have the climb of Box Hill, drop back down on the far side, then into the tunnels to kick it out from the elevators, and then the drag to the bridge, over the bridge, around the side of the Tower of London with it on your left-hand side, and then we come in the sweeping right off Tower Hill, taking us in towards the gantry. Can everybody hold this pace? Well, we know Simon Runnett more than capable of squeezing in with the back group here with Sharp the Sabre and Templeman. So the back of that group just holding it together well. Not sure we can manage it, so there's only like 5 riders deep. Good to know that James Woodbridge is ride London speed or quicker. Mate, it's faster than my speed uphill. I hate hills, I have to say. Might have ridden a whole load of national hill climbs, one after the other, and done weekends with 4 in a row, but I still hate them. It's just like horrible things. Give me a downhill or something roller coastery or something that you can get some speed and carry some momentum through. In my dreams, I'm super fast like that. In reality, yeah, not so much. So, looks like the gang just keeping that control, 11%. Do you know what? There's some really smooth control of the power on here as these riders are riding up. There was a time when we couldn't ask people to ride as a group like this because they just couldn't do it. They didn't have that control over feathering the pedals, about not pushing too hard too soon. Now, really is working. People are able to ease off, even on this 11%, although we're getting a couple of splits. It's not too bad. Remember, we're going to go up over the top, and then it starts to drop off. Fortunately, on this, there's a little bit of a plateau, and we've got to get it together really before we come off that plateau. If that doesn't happen, then we're going to be in trouble. So remember, it's going to steepen up. We're going to go up over the steep section. We're going to drop off the far side, and then once we drop off the far side, those gaps will open. So it's all about getting the group back and blobbed up together. So it looks like Keith's just patrolling the back of the gang. Blob around yellow, it's really easy. That's the yellow beacon, just ahead of the red beacon. You just see him up there, just start watching Keith now. You're just going to see this, once we start to see daylight coming through the tunnel of trees, that's when we know that we are just about coming to the top of the climb. You can just see that last little step. There's a kink in the road. It's a slight right and a slight left, and that is when it is really, really interesting. So, as Jimmy says, I'm not going to be going at the summit, don't worry. So, Mr. Richardson in a moment, just having to squeeze those pedals, just to really put some revs in there. 90 revs per minute from Stephen Richardson at the moment. So Stephen just detached a little bit. Stephen, you need to squeeze on as you go over the top. You won't want to be distance on that last little bit, so keep pushing. If we've got a few bodies at the back, they can drop back just to get a little bit of breadcrumb to him. A little bit of chain. As we hit over the top of the crest, it'll stop him being detached on the way down. Then it's about staying together as a pack on that descent. Here we go. Look at that. Richardson's got plenty of kick in there. He doesn't need a breadcrumb. He's going to snaffle it all up. Look at that gap go. So remember, this is about holding around that yellow beacon. Jimmy has said he will not go at the base. He wouldn't go on the climb. He wouldn't go at the very summit. It's not going to happen. So you are able to sit and ride with the group, help the rest of the group along, and that is going to keep this together. You can just see the gantry just starting to come out on Leith Hill. Amazing control by the group. You know, it's just so good to see everybody working together. It's one of the reasons why we love doing the checking. It's one of the reasons Russ and I have not packed it in, to be brutally honest, is because it really does reaffirm your faith in your fellow cyclists of being able to look after each other. Look at that. That is something else. Textbook stuff here. How close can they all get together? How tight can it all be? That is one serious chain gang, guys. Congratulations. Jimmy can't believe it. I'm not sure I can either. I think that may well indeed be a first for the DCG. What a group. Well done, everybody. Fantastic stuff today. And this is now about staying tight. Do not let those gaps go, guys. No gaps. Don't let the gap go. This is where it pays to stay together. This is where it's going to get a little bit swift on this descent. We're already at -2. If you're at the back in that chain between the yellow and the red beacon, guys, you need to squeeze on. That gap goes, you're going to be in trouble on the descent. You've got to sit in that main group. It will pick up pace. Well, we've got Leith Hill KOM on the way up the climb there in the men's for Mr. Crease, and we've got the women's in Tracy Seeley, and that says everything. We've got, look at that, we came up the hill as a group. We looked after each other, and guess what? We still got that absolutely nailed. That is what you want to see. And we've got the jerseys on the way through. So looks like Jim dropping out on the ride on now. Oh, good to see Jim in there and holding all the way to the summit. Mr. Richardson and Keith, guys, squeeze on the back. Come on, you've got the power. Get yourselves on there. You will get distanced. Well, look at this. Just seeing a little bit of a warning from the Wolf here. Is he going to let this go already? It's currently heading in. This is going to be interesting. We're just riding in with Jimmy at the moment. Let's get that helicopter up in the air. And the go, go, go has gone. You can just see Jimmy pulling the trigger just whilst we've got a little bit of tree cover at the moment. So this is going to be all about how fast can this group descend. They're at 89 kilometres an hour on that section. And you can just see everybody is absolutely ready to rip this up. How fast will the gaps open at the back of the group? Well, they're not. The red beacon is potentially going to be sweeping at the back. He's going to have bodies now. We're just starting to see the first bodies dropping off the back of that group. You cannot afford to get distance. Once that gap goes, you're in trouble. And who is at the back? Who is in no man's land here? Well, it looks to me like Joe Munden is going to be in trouble. She's got to put a big kick in here. And Munden now has got to work hard here. Joe Munden is the rider here. She comes on that pink Tron bike. Massive sprint from Joe as she fights to get back on those wheels. It looks like she's going to get on the Manchester Wheelers here. Then you can see the youngsters who were so quick up that hill here. They were really fast. Monty has got to push, and this is where those youngsters who are lighter, they really is hard work for them. They weigh so little. That downhill is absolutely phenomenal. 100 kph coming up on the clock. Those sort of like Liam just getting Lewis, being distanced there. So Lewis, you've got company coming. This is where it pays down. Look at that. It shows you just how fast Joe Munden being distanced on that downhill and able to stay with the group. Little bit of a kicker here. And that red beacon is now going to start sweeping riders. There's going to be a group forming. But you cannot afford to relax for a second. Day on the back here. Inslee could be in trouble as well. You can just see Lone Rider on the back of the group. Bobby Mason, another of our really light riders, just in trouble if he doesn't squeeze into that group, because you saw once that speed picks up, if you're off the back, you're going to get distance. Once that opens up, the gap opens, you're in trouble. And again, now seeing another 3 riders go. You can't afford to be at the back, because if somebody leaves a gap and you can't get on, you know, it might not be you who leaves that wheel missing, but you could get caught out. And it looks to me like Lone Rider now distance. McKenna going to be in trouble here. Richardson, Inslee the same here. So super strong sprinter Sonia's got to push. We take the right hand turn here. We drop down a little bit more, then we get to take the left hand turn. And the thing to do if you are distance, form a group, get a pack together and do it fast, because you will find that you're going to be able to move faster. Now, our leading group are going to be able to take that left-hand turn. You can just see them up on the map. So that leading group around that left-hand turn at the moment, they've got distance here, and it looks to me like Pattison, the next of the riders. If you're at the back of that pack, you cannot afford to be taking it easy. It just looks like Mason is working hard at the moment. He's currently just up the road. You just see, this is the gang. They are together just about, and the pace has come off 30 kph or sub 30 kph, but you can see the gaps here. 11 seconds to McKenna and Inslee here. Then it's going to be 6 seconds to Lone Rider. Then it's going to be Beacon here. Now he's got plenty of riders around him behind as well. So we're going to see who's going to get on to the group, who can pull that back. that there are riders separated all the way out and around the course. We're going to jump pretty much back in to the front, and you can see now we go uphill. This is where the pressure comes on to the riders again, because you can just see Day here running in this group at the back here. It looks to me like the pressure that's being applied on the front is starting to do damage. It looks like Seeley needing to push on. So does Rob Wimble here. The gaps are starting to open up near the front as the pressure is put on here. None in this group are just taking a look up here. Looks like Dr. D in with the yellow beacon. Who's doing this damage on the front though? Because it is being wound up very early indeed. You can just see Varty is looking to be in this group that's pulling it on, and it's Runnett who's starting to pull clear. Kieran Smith makes the junction. Lindley is in there as well. Varty in that group. Looks to me like we're going to have License in there as well. Now, the Yellow Beacon group is not all that far behind here. That's got Stevens in there. It's got Jimmy Allen in that group. Matt Nunn is in that group. Dr. D is in there. Wayne Barr is in there. Neil from the Crosscaster in group 2. They are about to make the junction though. This is going to become one big group again. So these roller coasters splitting and breaking the group, these fracturing of the peloton continues on. Was Andy Hawes leading the next charge of riders here. Nick McDermott in here in this group. Chris Ball, MacArthur in here as well. So really interesting to see just how hard these riders are prepared to work next group. Now this has got Tracy Steely, Richard Langmead in here. A little bit further back, this is Shaw's group. We've got Day in here. Further back still looks like we've got Richardson and Emma just tacked off the back. We've got Inslee trying to close down those gaps at the front though. That leading the group is still quick. This is group number 2 on the road at the moment. That's the Andy Hawes Tours group. But this is the leading group at the moment, and once again you can just see that Varty just keeping the pressure on these riders. You've got Pearson in here as well, and the green now going over onto top goes Varty, keeping everybody honest. As this gets wound up, we're going to take the left-hand turn up onto a Box Hill. Here we go. And it's going to be around this turn, and it's Varty who's going to lead them in and around the turn. He takes it, and you can see that gradient kicking in immediately. He's got about 15 metres. This is where it is key to get that gap down. They can't afford to let it go to. Oh, look at this. Varty's gone for another kick. He doesn't want to leave this to the end. And you know what? Kieran Smith could well be going for a long one here, because behind him, we're just trying to get our cameras. It is the pink of Kieran Smith who's coming. Now, this is where everybody has to be careful. They can't afford to let those gaps go. You're going to be in real trouble here. So, A.D. Denshall leading the charge behind. Craig Genter, Tom Lindley in there. It is a real who's who. Are we going to see a battle now as they come up on the wheels of Genter, as we see Kieran Smith come on, the pretender to his crown. It is young Tom Lindley in the orange, who is sat wheel 2. He won't want to expend any energy. He doesn't need to, but he's got to keep this man marked. Could Kieran solo to the finish from here? That would be a phenomenal performance. We've seen some of our pros do that, and we always do say, if you win the chain gang, you basically have been a pro, are a pro, should have been a pro, or maybe will be a pro. Well, we'll see who of this current crop are going to do that. This is our leading group of 5. Kieran Smith, Tom Lindley, Craig Genther, Rob Varty, A.D. Dench. They're the top 5. 6 seconds back now to the chasing group led by Wayne Barr. Barr on the front of this group. Birmingham man at 2. Looks like Neil from the Crosscast. Maybe wishing he didn't have that extra weight of the helmet on his head at the moment. This group, though, 6 seconds down. 6 seconds down on that group up ahead of leaders. So this is a group 2. Got Neil Birmingham in the black with no helmet on that yellow Tron bike. Wolf, the yellow beacon, just trying to keep that closed down. Kieran Smith continuing to push on these pedals. He's really keeping that pace high at the moment, and you can just see behind the efforts are going in. You can just see the numbers jumping up. Craig Genther puts in a little bit of a kick. Varty puts in a little bit of a kick. The ease back off again. So they're having to put in a little bit more power. Every time somebody's kicking, though, and going into the red, they are playing into the hands of Smith, who really has got the pace set here. He is sat on the front, and everybody else at the moment with this pace from Kieran Smith is just sitting in the wheels. He's doing all of the work on the front. He's breaking that air on the way through. They're still doing 28 kph, so it's still a significant advantage to be sat in the wheels. And at the moment, it looks to me like AD Dench now has gone pop, as over the top goes Genther. Genther's gone over the top of him, and at the moment, Kieran Smith just dropping off that pace a little bit. So Kieran just marking out Craig Genther. Varty puts a little bit of a sprint to get on here. Lindley playing a very cagey waiting game at the moment. He's just sat on there. He's letting people put it in. And look at this. It looks to me like Craig Genther has saved a feather flag for this moment. He's going up the climb. He had feather flag engaged. It looks like he shed AD Dench. Has he shed Lindley? Remember, this is all about having enough bodies together to form a fast pack on the downhill. Behind these riders, AD Dench is at 5 seconds. We are at 17 seconds behind AD, so 24 from the front to Jimmy Allen. But Jimmy Allen is leading a pack of riders up here. And if they've got strength in death, if they've got a volume of riders, if they can take the group over together, they could potentially chase them down. Have they got enough in there? Let's take a little bit of a look. You've got 5, 6, 7, potentially maybe 8 riders. Singleton would make it 9. Pearson would make it 10. If they can get together, you could have maybe 12 or 13 riders. But if they fracture, if they take it apart, then they're going to be in trouble. Now, AD Dench now 8 seconds behind this leading group, being led by Genther at the moment. At the moment, they're giving Lindley and Smith a ride up this hillside. They're not able to break that gap open. We're coming up towards the top. We're going to do the sharp right turn. They've got very little distance left to go before the King of the Mountains, the Queen of the Mountains summit. Then we're going to take the banner and go through it, underneath it, and then head to the final kick to get to the high point of the course. So, 4 leaders: Smith, Genther, Varty, Lindley leading this ride out. Behind, AD Dench at 12, now 13 seconds. 5 seconds behind him, Birmingham. It's going to be Jimmy Allen, Wayne Barr, Rob Taylor, crosscast near nail for the crosscast. It's going to be Taylor, run it. Singleton's a little bit off the back of this group. He's got Pearson just behind him. If they push on the level section, they could then be able to get a little bit closer to our leading group. Now Varty goes on the offensive again now. It looks like he's just started to break something. Maybe he just wants to get the advantage of going over the KOM first. He's going to take that KOM, or is he? Look at this, Craig Genther sat on his wheels here. Varty, I think, is going to take the banner. He does, so he goes through the banner. He should get that Box Hill jersey for that. That was some kick as he went up there. So it's not going to come up, of course, so just my apologies, but it's not going to come up, and that's quite simply because we took the left-hand turn onto it and missed the very start of it. Now, it has meant that they've distanced Lindley. Lindley now at 10 seconds of Varty repeatedly sprinting, really breaking this up. He's trying not to give them any kind of rhythm at all. Next big kicker, you can see it coming in front of the riders. This is where things will get very difficult. It's just riding, just tucked in behind them on the motorbike. It's going to go up now. Varty engages the draft, but look at this. Genther's, he's got a feather flag as well. It's going to be really tight on here, and the pair of them are looking to drop Kieran Smith. Kieran responds with 9 watts per kilo. Another big kick from Genther going over the top, and I think Varty, he's really having to watch these efforts. He keeps on putting in a boot. It's dropping back off. How much of a gap is there as they go over the top? Now we're coming in into the descent. Can they gap Varty here? The two of them are just pushing, but Varty quickly in, and look, that distance has come right down here. So 3 leaders. The chase is on behind a real tough climb. Going up there, it didn't go from the go. It was on the downhill. We saw the decisive attacks coming. Now whittling down until the base of Box Hill. Then the attack went on Box Hill. Absolutely blistering pace being set up there. It went to 5, then Eddie Dench went, then it went to 4. And we had Tom Lindley in trouble. He went. Now those two are riders riding together in 4th and 5th places. Dench and Lindley leaving these three out the front. Varty in the black and red. Genther in the Downing Cycling grey and green. And in the pink of the Swift on that pink Tron bike, it's Kieran Smith. These are your 3 leaders. They're almost at the base of this descent. Now, riders in 4th and 5th places now starting to make their way down. Eddie Dench in the grey and green of Downing Cycling with the orange cap on. Lindley tucked in behind him. So they are currently in 4th and 5th places. Going over the top, this is the fight for 6th downwards. And it is going to be between these few riders. Will they come back together as a bunch? Can they snaffle up Lindley and Kieran's group? I don't think they'll get the Lindley and Dench group, but they may well be able to close down the two. Kieran Smith at the moment with Craig Genther and Rob Varty. They are the riders to beat. They have got clear air. 1 minute 45 apparently, according to our time guests. We have just gone over a fold in the map, so we'll watch for that to reset itself. That pace over the top, absolutely phenomenal. And Craig Genther, well, is today the day? Have they done enough damage to Kieran's legs? They have made him do repeated efforts on the way through. Kieran, a medalist at National Hill Climb before now. Is he going to be the man who's going to be able to take this Varty again? Just surging as he comes in and through, feathering his efforts as he comes in. Genther just sitting below. Now, we have one more steep rise to go. This is going to be the kick up the escalators. They are about K, just over K and a bit, over to the finishing line. Who will be able to take this out as they go through? Going to be hard to tell. Another long one tonight on the Donny Chain Gang Nonnas Milan San Remo week. Really taking its toll on the riders. We've had 2 really long monumental rides on the Chain Gang, as you would expect, on the Milan San Remo week, and this has gone cagey again. We've seen some real sitting, just making sure nobody does too much. They'll have used all of their power-ups, I think, as they went up and over the top of the climb. This is the escalators. This is where it could be the big one now. Varty's got a 10 watts per kilo. You've seen Kieran Smith responding to this. It looks like Genther's going to come over. They come over on the wheels now. Genther has to push to get in here. He does so. Kieran Smith goes on to the front. Varty just yo-yoing again. His power surges are just crazy. They go from 11 right the way through. So just watching as they come through, absolutely absorbing here now. They've got the time. They've got a minute on the chasers. 1 minute, 58 seconds to the chasers. They can track down this. Are they going to lead out Kieran Smith? Will it make any difference to the finish? Can Genther and Varty work him over? They've got the time. They can stop for an espresso at Nonnas on the way through pretty much if they had Nonnas had to stand at the side, because at the moment there is nothing to choose behind them. Birmingham is going to lead the chase up over the top of the escalators. So at the moment the leaders are all together. Birmingham leading the chase. Lindley, then it's Jimmy Allen, Dench, Taylor, Barr and Co. And Neil from the crosscast behind. Let's go back to the gang. We're coming into this a little bit of a finale now. Varty goes over the top. He's going to lead this out at the moment. He's gone early, but Kieran Smith has responded. Is there enough of a gap? Varty could get this gap, but look at this. Kieran Smith has eased off those pedals, but he's in the slipstream. It's going to be between these two as they come through. Genther just distanced at the moment. Can he close them down? He's going to get onto the heels here. There's still plenty of time. He comes up at some serious pace there. And Varty's now dropped down off the back. Kieran Smith is sat in the mix here, and so is Varty, so is Genther. I wouldn't want to actually pick anybody here. Now Kieran has put in that feather flag way early. That is craziness, and maybe just actually he's starting to feel the pressure, starting to feel the pace here, because this is the kick for the finish. You're going to see that gantry come up. Who's got that final kick? It's a downhill run in. Here we go. 100 metres to go. Nothing in this. They're timing it to the end. It's going to be dead legs day today for everybody, but it's going to be Kieran Smith who takes it from Rob Varty and Craig Genther. So Smith, Varty, Genther in that order, being followed by the chasing group. Now, will it be the Wolf? Will it be Tom Lindley? Young Tom Lindley, young still. There'll be a day when you really wish you were called Young Tom Lindley, young Mr. Lindley. Now, Birmingham on the front. Jimmy Allen in second place. Tom sits in third wheel here. Tom, phenomenal sprint on him. Don't discount Jimmy Allen. Then you can see why they were so desperate to shed Lindley. He's putting the kick, but look at Birmingham's responding here. He's in the slipstream. He's just about closing that wheel down, but Lindley has really ripped this up. But Birmingham is coming. Birmingham is coming over the top here. And look at this. Birmingham is going to rip this through. He's got it. It's going to be a fourth place for Birmingham. It's a fifth for Lindley, a sixth for Jimmy Allen as they go in. Taylor's going to take 7th, Aidy Dench 11th. It's going to be the run back now. It is going to be to Taylor number 2. This is Dean Taylor this time round. So Dean Taylor, Wayne Barr and co on the run in here. And it is going to be Dean Taylor comes in third out of this group. So Neil from the crosscast, then Wayne Barr, then Dean Taylor go through. Behind it's going to be Simon Runnett. Then it's going to be the Singleton group. Is Mr. Singleton going to have this before he jumps on the plane? You can recover on the plane, mate. You don't need to save those legs. So Singleton, Pearson, Templeman and Greenway in the mix here. At the moment it's Singleton at 7.8 watts per kilo, doing an Ed Clancy style sprint here, but now comes Pearson as he left it too late. 10 watts per kilo. He's coming, he just doesn't quite make it. Behind then it's going to be Templeman and Greenway in that order. Behind them it will be Kooslugs who's got the gap clear on Malin. Malin's going to lead this group in, but can he stay clear? This is going to be super quick here on Nonnas Milan San Remo week, and I think Malin just holding off the push there from everybody else. Really good to see. You just see this group coming through. It does pay to be in one, but it isn't that easy to stay in it on that descent now. I think our next rider in is going to be Dick Samul, who's going to come in front of that chasing group of Forbes, Wilson and Nunn. So well done to Dick Samul. As Jimmy says, congratulations to Cannon and of course to Pearson, who are going to take away the vouchers for £75. That's a great night at Nonna's Great Food. Excellent to see our official lap scorer going through. Matt Nunn leads this chase, followed by Forbes, followed by Steve Wilson. Great stuff, guys. Next up is going to be Goddard on his way in. So Goddard just leading this in, but McCarthy's coming. McCarthy's going to roll him. He has done. So McCarthy comes through just in front. Then behind is going to be Moore. Then it's going to be the battle between Garfoot, Forrester. Woodbridge has gone over the top. Woodbridge is going to be leading this out, but Garfoot has got the big sprint on him. Can he take this? He's going to be close as they come into the line. Is he going to be necking up? Whoa! I'm going to let you guys work out who took that one between Garfoot, Woodbridge and Forrester. Behind the Nate McDermott coming in and through the line. It's going to be Keyworth and Ronnie. Canham is going to be leading this next group now. This has Tracy Seeley in here. Tracy's going to be our first female finisher on those triple loops today. So here we go. Time to see who's got anything left in those legs. Andy Hawes, the Pinarello and Assos ambassador in the blue, winding it up. The man who's responsible for routing the Tour of Britain and the Critsus now puts a big kick in here. Through he goes. It's Andy Hawes leads them home from Chris Canham. Then it's Keith Richardson, Wimble, Tracy Seeley, Tracy the Terminator yet again, proving why she is so phenomenal. Another great performance from her today. Behind then it's going to be Day, who had a number of dropouts. She continues to push on. He's ahead of Sean Ferron. So it's Day followed by Ferron, and then it's going to be Shaw. So Sean going to be in and through. Good to see that Jimmy's given us the menu on his way through. Next up will be Joe Munden. Joe's going to be the second of all women through the line. Joe got 30 seconds on Gail, Mason and Cross there. So it is going to be Joe Munden. Our next rider in through the line. You'll see Joe back riding the chain gang once again. So our next rider will be Jonathan Gale. Should be followed by Bobby Mason, Jerry Cross. I think after that we'll then try and jump across to our yellow beacon across to Jimmy. So Gale, Mason and Cross all very close to the line. It is going to be Gale on his way in. Jimmy apologises to light riders for going on the descent. You don't apologise to the big fatties like me, mate, when you go on an uphill bit. So it is going to be Jonathan Gale next of our riders in and through the gantry, being followed by Bobby Mason. Mason's going to be the next one. He's going to be ahead just of Jerry Cross up in Manchester. So Cross goes in, which means our next group just coming in over the bridge. Let's see if we can get hold of the one and only Jimmy Allen. The legendary Jimmy Allen, hopefully, on the end of the phone. Jimmy, what's this apologising to the lighter riders? I'm not sure you ever managed to do that to fatties like me.
Well, I felt a bit bad when I saw him going backwards. It was a bit steep, wasn't it? So something a bit different, and I'm sure the heavier riders appreciated it, but yeah, just a one-off, you know. Won't do it all the time.
Well, that's
mind you, Russ will be back soon. Well,
I don't know. I think he seems to be enjoying himself, having family life. Eventually, he will no doubt be climbing the walls enough to want to be back. But I think you never know. We might ease him in gently and let you lead for a couple whilst he actually gets his chain gang legs back in and enjoy the ride for a change. Because
getting the routine,
he is always leading, and it certainly for me, I think. It's always a shock coming back, and it's a totally different world now for us than it was, not all that long ago, and that makes the difference. We'll see how it wants to go, but the gang, with or without Russ, the gang is the gang, and it takes everything to make it, and the riders absolutely core. Some fantastic work to get everybody over the top of Leith Hill together, which personally I never thought we'd see.
Amazing, yeah. I genuinely was surprised because. That was no mean feat for everybody in the gang to ride sensibly and not panic, and even small gaps, that they're exaggerated on Zwift, aren't they? So yeah, I was gobsmacked, but it was a nice thing to try. But I didn't really think we'd actually do it to get absolutely everybody as a gang over there. So that was brilliant, absolute highlight of the night in a way.
Yep, definitely, and great to see. We've just seen Sonia Inslee come in and through. The line there, Sonia always putting the sprint at the end just ahead of Lone Rider, and definitely those gaps are not huge at the moment. Good to see Patterson on his way, and that lumpy road from the bottom of Leith Hill to Box Hill, essentially where we saw a whittling down. A big group hit the base of that road, but it's known as Richmond Park in Zwift, and a bit like Richmond Park, it's not massive, but those draggy climbs, the rise and fall, really can separate the groups. Definitely, and it's funny that because I did the Ride London a few years just before COVID, and I wasn't in great shape, to be honest. But I don't know if you've ever done it, but it's average 20 mile an hour for 5 hours. It was like basically a race, accelerator corners, and
yep. I've never ridden Richmond Park, but I got dropped. From a big group, it was absolutely rapid on Richmond Park. So yeah, it's just like real life. It is. I was fortunate enough to actually live in Richmond Park for the duration of the Olympics. Brilliant! We actually had a barrier village camped in Richmond Park, which is you're not allowed to do, and we got special permission to stay there, which was great. Rumours that the barrier crew barbecued a deer are not strictly true. But it has to be said, the roads around there, I was lucky enough to ride around them as well as to work on them. And they are really, really hard. It's those little bits that can make or break the ride for people. But today, the key moment really, as we thought it would be, Box Hill split that group, and a group of 5 going clear with Adi Dench absolutely pinging up there. I mean, we'd expect to see Lindley in there, Craig Genther in there, we'd expect to see Kieran and Rob Varty in there, but Adi's absolutely flying at the moment. Yeah, he's some rider, isn't he? He's I think last year I was out on the chain gang with him and just sat on his wheel. He was putting the hurt on me. So yeah, he's the real deal. He's Eddie. He knows how to ride hard and push himself. So
and he's
up there with the young ones.
Let's face it.
Is it? No, it looks like it. He don't look like. Well, I'm not going to say how old
Careful.
he is, but he looks well. Let's put it that way. He looks well, and he rides well.
Yeah, I don't think he had a hard paper round. Let's put it. It's got to be said. And if riding keeps you young, then it's definitely doing that for Eddie and his legs. To stay with that group, Tom Lindley not able to stay with the constant kicks and acceleration in towards the top, but then the three together. I mean, they all were pushing and pushing and pushing, and it came down essentially to a blanket finish between the three.
Yeah, a great finish, wasn't it? Yeah, and like I said, bodies everywhere really after that climb, and sort of small groups. I think you said that on commentary or in a phone call we had earlier on. It was always going to happen, wasn't it? Sort of little groups battling out for placings and what have you. So it's what you want, really, isn't it? You sort of, like it splits it up, and you end up riding with riders who push you. And I was with Tom and Neil at the end, and both of them just turned the screw at the last sort of kilometre. And I was hanging. That's what you want, though, isn't it? Either way, you still get a workout, and it's it's brilliant.
Yeah, and we've seen that. I mean, we saw so many people at the Worlds, at the Esports Worlds, who'd ridden on the chain gang, people like Charlotte Coldclough, and they're really pushing people in and driving people on, and it's translating into the real world as well. And we've seen some great results and some great performances, and gotta say, the gang works so well together. But in no small part to our beacons, Keith Richards just on his way into the finish in the red, and good on Keith for he could have easily dropped out of that role and said, oh, do you know what, I don't want to do it, but he absolutely giving company, giving support to the riders at the back, that chat going, which is what we need. That red beacon, apart from anything else, it's how I know where roughly the back of the group is, which is fairly important at times. And it shows because that group stayed together absolutely superb today. So another week done. Nonnas as busy as ever, and I've got to say thank you to Stefano and Maurizio for looking after the members of the DCG gang. I know you've got plenty of favourites one way or another, and I'm sure we'll be heading there fairly in the not too distant future. But I will let you go off and dream of whatever you're going to get at Nonnas next, Jimmy.
Yeah, try and get rid of these withdrawal symptoms. I need to get back there. Yeah, nice one, mate. Thanks a lot.
We'll catch you soon. Cheers, Jimmy.
See you later.
So as Jimmy goes to go mentally tick his way off that menu, just going to watch Jim on his way in. Our rider just making his way in to that finishing banner here today. So Jim Flynn pushes on those pedals to get through. Just the warm down to do, always in there so that people don't just disappear off the end of the ride, so they get plenty of chat on the way through without losing that conversation. Jim now into that part of the ride. So, as we said, a massive thank you to Stefano and to Maurizio for looking after the members of the DCG gang. Remember, support the people who support your sport. The guys from Halo, OT, Veloskin, 1080, Velo Viewer, the team at Grand Tour Coffee at Gritty, who are our next giveaway in a couple of weeks' time. Don't forget, of course, that we have to look after those members. So, a massive thank you to the guys on the DCG gang, the Donny Chain Gang Supporters Club. If you want to find out how to join, jump on the Facebook page. All the ideas, all the gang are on there. There's loads of chat, and of course, how to join, what the gang's about, and how to help support and keep the show on the road and the wheels turning in the virtual world of Zwift. We'll be back next week. Some great routes next week. Really looking forward to them. And next week is a 3 chain gang week. We have the 2 open DCGs. They're on Tuesday and Thursday. And on Wednesday, it's the very last of the spring season's WOW DCGs with Emma, our yellow biggin, who was on it. And in fact, showed that she's got a fast little sprint hidden away somewhere with a sub 11 second, a 10.95 on the sprint tonight. So Emma will be rolling those wheels out on Wednesday. In the meantime, make sure you give me a follow on Facebook, on Zwift, and on Strava. It's at Matt Fixer Payne. Don't forget, of course, Russ, currently away looking after Norman, the little one, and looking forward to seeing them in real life soon. Don't forget, in the meantime, Jimmy, our yellow beacon, taking the reins for the chain gang, and a massive thank you to all of our red beacons this week as well. So from me, Matt Payne, from everyone on the Donny Chain Gang, have a great weekend. Hopefully see you out on the trails soon. See you soon on the Donny Chain Gang.